If you think San Diego real estate is safe from big changes, you better think again. These next few years could completely reshape how buying and selling works here. Everything from new state laws to stalled prices and inventory crisis all colliding at once. This is creating a market that could shock both buyers and sellers if they're not paying attention. My name is Nick, a real estate professional that helps families, individuals, and investors buy smart and sell much more confidently here in one of the most competitive real estate markets in the entire country. So right now, I'm going to break down what's happening behind the scenes, what's coming in 2025, and how you can stay protected. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to expect and how to move much more strategically before these shifts catch you off guard. Let's get into it. So let's jump straight into this and start by clearing something up. And that's that home prices here in San Diego are not crashing, but they're certainly not climbing like they used to either. And a big piece of this puzzle is the inventory levels here in San Diego County. And right now we're right at about 3.5 months supply as I do this video. So to give you some perspective on that, back when the prices were surging out of control back in 2021 and 2022, inventory had dipped below 1 month. That's when bidding wars were literally daily. There was 20 offers on a house, and it wasn't crazy to see a house go $200,000-$300,000 over asking in just a weekend. And just to dig into our current inventory levels just a little bit more, we have something called fake inventory right now. And you might be wondering, Nick, what the heck is this fake inventory? Well, what it is, it's real listing. It's out there. It's on the MLS. You can see it on Zillow, but it's priced so unrealistic and there's no motivation with the seller that it is almost not even a real listing. And really, these are just homes that are priced unreasonable. They're priced from a market that happened 6 months ago or maybe even a year ago, and they're not priced to sell in today's market. And the thing is, a lot of these sellers, they want that certain price. They're not motivated. They're not in a situation or a life event where they need to sell. So if they don't get that number, then they likely just won't sell. And you'll see this happen a lot. I'm sure you've been scrolling Zillow and thought, hey, that house is gorgeous, but holy smokes, that is way overpriced. Well, there's a ton of that. And you'll see this stuff sit for 30 days, 60 days. And usually by that 90-day, let's say 3-month mark, you'll see it just disappear and expire. And guess what? They usually don't relist until the market kind of favors sellers a little bit more. So that's kind of a breakdown on a lot of this fake inventory. Also, home prices are basically flat right now. The median home price is hovering right around $930,000 countywide, and that's about the same as this time last year. So while home prices are certainly not dropping off a cliff, they're really not going up right now either. So it's really a standoff. Buyers are waiting for things like mortgage rates to go down before jumping back in, and sellers, well, they're just not lowering the prices, especially when they're sitting on a 3% mortgage. I can't blame a lot of these homeowners out there for not wanting to sell. They may need to sell to downsize or some sort of life event, but it sometimes just doesn't make sense. So we're kind of just stuck right now. Homes are sitting a lot longer on the market, and price growth is really just frozen right now. And honestly, I think this is going to stick around for a while. Unless we see a big drop in rates or just a huge surge in inventory, I think we're going to be in this stale real estate market for a lot longer than people think. So that crash that you could be waiting for is probably never going to happen, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't have a plan before rushing in and finding the right place. Another thing that is really changing the San Diego real estate market fast is some new state housing laws. California is pushing extremely aggressive right now for density. This is one of the biggest changes happening under the radar right now, and it's already reshaping a lot of San Diego's neighborhoods just block by block. And most people have no idea how fast this is moving. State laws like SB 9 and SB 10 is now making it much more easier to split a single family lot and build multiple homes on it, even if that neighborhood was zoned for 1 home per lot for decades. And of course, San Diego is taking it even further with the city's Housing Action Package 2.0. This is where developers are getting huge density bonuses near public transit, which means you're going to see more duplexes, triplexes, and even mid-rise apartment buildings showing up in places you would really never expect to see that. And this is something that we're more so seeing in the city of San Diego in areas like North Park or Normal Heights and parts of Claremont. Some of these areas, you're just going to be driving down a block and you're going to see an old single-story home that's actually being replaced with 4 new units, and it's happening so fast. But Nick, what does this mean if I'm a homeowner or a buyer? Well, if you own property here in San Diego, well, your land and your home probably just got more valuable, especially if it's zoned a certain way or it qualifies for some redevelopment. And well, if you're buying, get ready for change. You know, you're probably going to see more housing pop up nearby. There's going to be some negatives like more cars on the street. You might have less parking, more noise, and a different neighborhood feel overall. all. The bottom line is the San Diego that you're used to is probably going to look a lot different in the near future, especially in some of those older, more central neighborhoods. So whether you already own property or you're going to be buying in the future, this stuff is definitely going to affect everything from the streets to the lifestyle and that long-term property value. This is exactly why it's so important to work with somebody that knows these neighborhoods inside and out. Whether you're buying or selling, these density plans and zoning changes are going to have a huge effect on property values. And we look at what's coming, not just what's there today, so you can make a smarter move with no surprises later. So if you want that kind of guidance, just reach out. We'll help you buy smart and sell smart. Next, rates are staying higher for longer. Let's really talk about what's happening with these mortgage rates, because I know there is a ton of people out there right now that are waiting for these 3% mortgages to come back. And here's the truth, it's probably going to be an extremely long time before we ever see that. And even right now, we're sitting in that 6.5% to 7% range for most conventional 30-year fixed loans. And while we might see a few small drops here and there, we're not heading back to these pandemic era rates unless something really shifts major in the economy. But why are rates staying high? Well, the feds have been extremely slow to cut back on these rates because inflation is still sticky. Every time they think about dropping the rate, a new job report or spending data pushes that timeline back. And even if you're approved, your rate might be higher than you expected, which is going to hurt your affordability by a ton. And these high rates really affect sellers as well. A big chunk of homeowners are sitting on 2.5% to 3.5% loans, and they're not exactly excited to give those up. So even if they'd like to move, they're really staying put, and that's keeping inventory extremely tight, especially in a lot of these popular neighborhoods here in San Diego. And I tell people this all the time, especially in this market. The key right now is focusing on that monthly payment, not the purchase price. You want to do this backwards, especially having a really good lender is going to be so important because they're going to crunch so many different scenarios for you. They can crunch rate buy downs, different loan options, and just different scenarios overall, which is just going to give you so much more clarity before you hop in and buy a property. Next is builders can't fix the supply problem. And a lot of people out there think the answer to San Diego's housing crisis is pretty simple. It's just build more homes, but it's not that easy. And builders are certainly not going to help with the affordability crisis we have here in San Diego either. And here's the thing, even with the city trying to streamline the permitting process, a lot of these approval processes or new construction are taking months, sometimes even years, in between environmental reviews, zoning rules, and community opposition. It's a long road just to even break ground. And typically by the time they're breaking ground, guess what? The market has changed. And to top it off, costs just keep going up. Builders are dealing with things like labor shortages and rising material costs, which makes each home more expensive to produce. So what do? They build higher end homes because that's honestly where all of their margins are at here in San Diego at the moment. So even what's being built right now, well, it's not even affordable. And most of the new construction here in San Diego right now is either high-end luxury townhomes, condos, or single family homes that are honestly starting in the low 1 millions. And these aren't even starter homes for first-time buyers. They're move up or downsizing options. And even in a lot of these so-called affordable developments, they all come with high HOAs, or they're just in a vertical, more dense setting, and that just really doesn't work for a lot of buyers out there. So while there may not be a huge wave of affordable homes coming at all or in the foreseeable future, there still is a lot of value in resale options if you know where to look. Next is investors are eyeing San Diego for multifamily conversions, and what this basically means is big money is coming for these single family lots, and I feel like a lot of buyers and even homeowners don't really know this is happening, and it's something that I'm starting to see much more, and it's even starting to accelerate. And honestly, it's happening pretty quietly too. You have a lot of institutional investors and developers who are buying single family homes, especially the ones with larger, more flatter lots, and they're not buying them to flip them, but they're buying them to completely demo the house and rebuild multiple units. So think about duplexes, triplexes, and even small apartment style projects. With pro-density laws like SB9, it becomes much easier and a lot more profitable to convert these single family homes into multiple units and turn them into rentals. But why are these developers and investors choosing San Diego? Well, for one, rents are very high. Demand is extremely strong here. So the cash flow seems to pencil out much easier, especially when it's multiple units. And these zoning laws are loosening in a lot of neighborhoods, especially the ones near transits, which means they can build more units, and the inventory is still super duper tight and land is limited. So a lot of these these older homes are becoming very prime targets for reuse. Again, this is something we're seeing happen in a lot more of the central San Diego area, like Lemon Grove, City Heights, Logan Heights, University Heights, and even some pockets of Claremont. So if you own an older home or you're buying in an older neighborhood, the redevelopment potential could be worth a lot more than you think. And we've helped both buyers and sellers in these types of neighborhoods, and the numbers can always look a lot different depending on what is going on with that property. Now that we've covered all the big shifts happening across the San Diego real estate market, let's talk about what this means for you. So whether you're buying, selling, or investing, this market is not normal, and what was happening, or I should say working back in 2021 or 2023, is not working these days. So new strategy is needed. For my buyers, stop waiting for a crash. It's definitely not happening. Prices are not plunging, although they are softening in certain areas. Look for sellers where homes are sitting on the market for longer, or sellers are starting to get anxious. That's where you're going to find some real opportunity right now. Those homes with the longer days on market right now are key. I'm talking homes that have been on the market for 21 days, 40 days, 70 days. Don't shy away from those. That is where you're going to find the most negotiability right now. And be extremely strategic with your offers. I'm talking closing costs, rate buy downs, credits. All of this stuff can make a deal so much more affordable without even changing the price. And focus on what fits your lifestyle and monthly budget. Don't consider what the media is saying it's perfect timing, because I've had clients score some insane deals in this market, not because of price drops, but just because we stayed patient and negotiated smart. And for my sellers, pandemic bidding wars are basically a thing of the past. Pricing right is everything right now. In this market, buyers are extremely cautious, and if your home is overpriced or doesn't show well, they're just going to move on. You need to price strategically right now, not just based on emotion, but based off of the real data. What are the comps like? And presentation is also everything right now. Staging, professional photography and videos, and marketing all make a huge difference. And I've seen very well properties sell within a weekend with multiple bids very fast for an awesome price. And I've also seen homes that still look really good, but they're just priced too aggressively and they just sit. And if you're an investor buying property here in San Diego, especially in those older neighborhoods like Allied Gardens or City Heights, Logan Heights, even South Bay, you need to pay close attention to the zoning changes that are happening. And what might look like a basic single family home could honestly be tomorrow's fourplex. So just keep that in mind. Rents are going to remain strong here. We're going to have very good long-term equity gains in a lot of these areas that are undergoing the densification. So that'll probably be significant to watch. So San Diego's real estate market is not crashing, but it could definitely catch you off guard if you don't know about these changes that are coming. And I've helped countless buyers, sellers, and investors just buy more smart here and more confident here in San Diego. So if that's you and you need help, or you just want some more clarity, reach out. My information is down there below. And I also have a video right here that you might like as well.